Go.
So when you hear that music, you know what this means. It's time for another episode of Who the Heck Are We? And we are now at our last episode for the year. It's
Wow.
December
Wow.
25.
Yes.
Ang susunod na natin,
Tama.
January na. Sunod na ere na natin, January na. Hindi lang natin alam kung January 8 or January 15, but doesn't matter. What we're going to do here right now, lalo na't kompleto tayo, Lance is here. Yay!
Yay! Woo! Libre.
Yes.
Libre.
Lance is here, of course. Claudia and Claro, they are all here for what we call the 12 gifts of Who the Heck Are We? This is the year-end award special of this podcast. Who the heck are we? And in this episode, we are going to recall the 12 best moments in sports in the year 2020. Although mahirap nga sabihin because it's 2020, pero it doesn't matter. Meron pa rin kahit papaano na mga sports moments na hindi natin makakalimutan throughout our lifetime. So guys, are you ready to begin
Yes.
the
I'm ready.
award
Let's go.
giving episode?
Yeah.
So okay. Simple lang tong ginawa namin. We had 12 categories. We spread that 12 categories among us. Binigay ko sa kanila isa-isa yung 12 categories and each of us has personally chosen that moment fit for that specific category. So our first gift sa ating 12 gifts of Who the Heck Are We is the nickname of the year.
Oh, shiz. I actually forgot that. Oh.
Nickname of the year is, well, ito lang naman yung mga nicknames na nauso within this year na na-develop this year sa mga atleta or sa team or sa event na nangyari. So, nagkaroon ng nickname, okay?
Okay.
Meron ako.
So-
I have one.
Ay, meron ako. I have one pala on my list, okay?
So, meron sila lahat. Magpisa tayo kay Lance dahil na-miss natin si Lance. Lance, let's get the ball rolling. What is your nickname of the year?
Okay, so good evening. Yung nickname of the year ko hindi siya athlete specific, pero
Yes. Okay lang.
the most, and it's the word bubble. Because kasi well, it has been used in all sports eh. So
Oo.
ayun, it's easy to describe the sporting event the moment you say the word bubble. So pag sinabi mong okay, we'll be in a bubble. So kunwari yung PBA noon when they were planning, okay, we'll have a bubble setup. So alam mo nang gagayahin nila yung NBA.
Mm-mm.
And in a way, yung Major League Baseball also had some sort of a bubble, like a semi-bubble. So parang it's bubbles everywhere. Ganun. Pero it's
Yes.
bubbles na yung that we from the small plastic thing.
Oh.
So I guess
The
that's
Powerpuff Girls.
oo. Hindi yung
Damn it.
hindi rin yung kapatid ni Paolo Paraiso. So if you're watching High Bubbles, hindi kami close pero High Bubbles. Yan. Nickname of the year, yun, bubble. Kasi I guess up until ma-solve talaga yung COVID-19, it will always prevail eh. So regardless of be it PBA bubble, MLB bubble, malamang MPBL bubble,
May nakapila na this February, FIBA bubble.
bubble o yung UAAP explored a bubble. So it really is the nickname of the year for me, the word bubble itself.
Ayos. Claudia.
Ako, mine's from the PBA. I don't know who gave this nickname. Kasi di ba in the PBA, a lot of people, they came in. Kailan kayo nag-start? October ata, no? Jay?
October
October
11.
like a week ago. And syempre, all the guys, mahaba ang buhok, di ba? Naging mahaba ang buhok. So I think we lost Jay. You there? I think Jay is frozen.
Wala. Anyway,
Anyway,
what's this mahaba?
Mahaba? No, but I like it.
Mahaba.
Si Bo Belga, tinawag siyang Chungli.
Oh gosh.
Because he put his hair like Chungli or Princess Leia.
May man bun. Nun.
Iba
Pero
rin eh.
dalawa.
There was,
Ah,
yeah.
Yeah, Chungli.
There was a time there was a lot.
hmm.
There was a lot then. Several ponytails around his head.
Yeah, so but there was one where he was named Chungli. And then I think it was Magu or si Chuck ang pangalan nun. Yun.
So
Anyway,
na extra rice.
That was the hardest one, Jay, that you gave me. Like I couldn't find anyone for that. But yeah. Mo Bell.
Claro.
Okay, so I actually thought I forgot to get an answer for that category, but this one is an easy one for me. Nickname of the year is Baby Schumi, anak ni Michael Schumacher, Formula 2 champion.
Yeah.
And seeing him just kill it, Schumacher just owning the F1 field, and we know that he's bedridden, but seeing his son is crazy. It's so nice to see the Schumacher name back, and he's gonna be back in Formula 1 next year. And galing how he won the championship this year in Formula 2, which is the stepping stone. Parang dilig yun in a way. So I go with Baby Schumi.
May pinagmanahan talaga.
Oh, definitely.
May pinagmanahan talaga.
They showed comparisons. They showed Michael Schumacher's style of overtake, the switch around, where you're on the outside of the track and you switch in. Be better to show it with video. And they showed the son doing exactly the same thing. So that just proves it. Yeah.
Yan ba yung mga tipong kahit sa corner kaya niya mag-overtake?
Yeah.
Tapos from the outside pa no?
Yeah, switch back.
Kasi yung Uber driver yan si Schumacher. No?
He took over a taxi once in Germany, I think, because he lives in Switzerland.
So
they picked up a dog. And they said, oh no, we're gonna miss our flight. So Michael Schumacher, emphasis on nicely asked the taxi driver, can he take over?
Are you serious? He did that?
And he went Michael Schumacher mode, and they got to the airport on time. Ang laki pa ng tip.
Germany, right?
Yeah. Ang laki pa ng tip ng taxi driver daw.
Hindi kaya natikitan din si Baby Schumi.
No, because if you're in Germany...
Ang dami niya nilabag doon na
Ang may dugo.
Matas trapiko.
No, if in Germany, there's no speed limit in the autobahn.
Mas na-enjoy, mas allowed nila yung mas mabilis.
Yeah. Germany, yeah.
No, but
there's no in the autobahn, there's none.
This wasn't exactly that cross-country autobahn. So there was an article saying that he could possibly get fined. But no news followed after. Nothing reached the global F1 community. So okay, let it go, guys. It's Michael Schumacher. Come on.
Yeah, I'm sure the driver was like, I don't need a tip. I don't need a tip. I love sitting with you, you know.
Siya rin talagang likong F1 na ano yun.
Yun nga likong F1 no matindi doon Tapos yung tipong ano siya. Hindi, ano yung sinasabi diyan? Wala namang bawal Huwag ka lang papahuli, di ba?
Hindi naman siya mapapahuli. Alright.
Hindi naman siya nahuli.
So racetrack lang siya nahuhuli.
Yeah.
Anyways, racetrack lang. Anyways, to complete the nickname of the year, ang bibigay ko nickname of the year with regards to the NBA, kasi this is where you say that people are fully invested sa NBA kahit ng bubble season pa sila. Kahit in a very unnatural times, uncomfortable times, nasabi mong bumalik na sila, they got their groove when people are starting to give nicknames to the players. So the nickname, I chose the nickname of the year is yung Playoff P. Of course, with regards to Paul George.
Oh, he had a long list,
Yes. Pero, if I'm not mistaken, Paul George gave that nickname to himself, tama?
I believe so. He said like, I'm about to step it up and become Playoff P.
Quote.
Sorry, Lance, nawala ka?
He was quoted. Tama, Lance?
Coming off from like a playoff run though. So parang quote niya yun Sa kanya.
So he named himself.
Yeah.
Yung playoff P pala is futile, gano'n. So yun pala yung meaning nun, as we've seen.
As we have seen, iba yung naging itsura ng playoff P na yun. So that has been our nickname of the year. Lance got his, Claudia got hers, and Claro got his. It's time to move to our next award, which is Broadcast Quote of the Year.
Yeah.
Anything that you've heard from your favorite broadcasters that stuck in your mind this year, 2020?
I love
this. Let's start off with Claudia.
Mine, of course. And the NBA is back. That's it. That for me. and then bang bang. Because of one shot. I was one shot which part of my awarding. It said bang bang by I think Claro's favorite sports commentator. No. NBA pa rin.
Oh, okay.
Green. Is that the double bang of Luka Doncic?
Yes,
Doncic's game winner.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Oo.
gonna be So ano yan, connected to my other
You
award.
hear will
Okay.
be next year.
Lance,
Sorry.
your
Ano
mic
yan, Lance?
nawawala.
Luka will be MVP next year. You heard
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Ayos yun ah.
Willing to
Luka
bet
MVP.
Oh yeah,
Oo.
yeah. I'll take a bet. I'll take a bet.
Mhm.
I'll agree on you in that.
Oo.
I mean,
Sorry,
Jake,
Claudia.
yeah.
Oo.
Real quick. Kala ko bang ni Magu eh.
No,
Kasi
bang si Magu. Bang bang.
You
Diba?
Mike Breen.
okay.
Yeah.
Same
Isang
line naman eh. So Magu,
Oh.
Filipino Mike Breen.
Yeah, I don't mind Magu's bang as well. I mean, and
May
then
buntot yung kay Magu. Mahaba yung buntot.
I love both bangs. Okay? I love them
lahat,
both.
the NBA is back, the PBA is back. Si Magu nagsabi nun, and the PBA is back. Yeah. And
Oo.
here's the first pitch. Yeah, anything that starts the sports during the COVID, whoever broadcasted it, Magu, Mike Breen, Kevin Harlan, and those ones, man.
Everybody that gave us the sense of normalcy
Yeah,
during these trying times.
The biggest one was the NBA is back. Woo! Then I think
Nice.
a lot of people cried. Yeah.
Oh. Claro, how about you?
F1, first race, Austria. Right after they play the Goosebumps F1 theme, David Crofty.
Whoa,
They say the long good things are worth the wait. And then you see like a helicopter shot of the racetrack. And I'm like, yes, it's time.
It all has to do something with comebacks eh, no? Yun
Yes.
yung tumatak talaga sa isip natin eh.
First
David
race of
Crofty is
the
actually
year.
good, man. He's such a good commentator.
I honestly like him, but he's had his haters club already.
Of course, yeah.
It's emerged, but I like him.
Have your haters, you're not an effective broadcaster.
Oh.
That's true. That's true, man. That's,
Part, oo.
Evoking emotions eh. So you'll always have those eh.
that's
Oo.
right. Evoking
Natural
emotion.
yun.
That's the indication that you've arrived eh. The moment you see a basher in your page or something. Hey, I made it.
You made it.
You made it. May isa
You're
nag-bash
there.
na
Oo.
sa atin, no? Once. One episode.
Kasi kapag sinabi na, uy, ang galing. Okay, sige, thank you. Pero pag may nagsabi na, pangit naman yung kung sino man yan. Uy, I made it. Ito sa
Lalo na pag
Bias
naalala
ka,
yung
bias
pangalan
ka,
mo, no?
bias ka, mga ganyan.
people really pay attention to what I'm talking about. Oh, I made
Oo.
it. Hmm.
That is true.
Nakikinig.
Lance.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so yung
Lance.
quote, it's not from a broadcaster, pero it came from a broadcast. It was loud and clear that it's so true also. During the Meralco game, when someone said lutong-luto na yata ref, parang under investigation pa rin, I guess, Jay, kung sino talaga yung nagsabi nun. At amin kung sino. Pero, it's so honest, it was so clear on air, kasi wala nga namang audience to contact the audio. So, it still is a broadcast quote kasi it came from a live game. So, nung narinig ko yun, in a way, nararamdaman mo in the PVA na may ganun ngang nature. Pero, had to say it. Of course, it will not casters.
Lance, your mic is disconnecting, nawawala-wala.
Nandun si Jay pero hindi niya nakita.
No.
So,
Confirmed.
For the record, ito pag-usapan natin dito to, just quickly. I wasn't in the game. Hindi ako duty nun.
okay.
Pero I was aware kung saan nang galing, kung anong mic yung naka-pick up doon. It was a boom mic situated just outside our aquarium. 'Di ba? We had a glass panel na parang isang napakalaking face shield namin. There's a boom mic situated just outside of that aquarium next to the bench of the light team. The team with the light jerseys.
Yes.
And so, katabi ng bench yun. So, naturally, Meralco, yung time na yun, yung nandun. Diba? But here's what I'm gonna tell you. Reynel Hugnatan wasn't on the bench.
Yeah,
So
he was the one who fouled.
He was fouled, but he was not on the bench. It was impossible for his voice to be picked up from where he was kasi he was on the court. Diba? Basta yun lang sasabihin ko. Ito,
Bottom line, we can't conclude, okay? Even Sir J cannot.
Yun lang.
Okay?
Yun lang sasabihin ko.
So let's jump
Anyways,
ship.
anyways.
Come on, let's move on.
Pero no, it's true. Pero no one else will say it. Ayun.
Right.
Kaya parang, o nga, no?
Luto, ref ah. Yan. Kilala ko yung
Basta there's a clue behind that. Anyways,
Kilala ko yung
ito, broadcast quote of the year. Actually, it happened already in the middle of the NBA season. Actually, it's the playoffs. Pero this is some light moments as well. Remember that Houston Rockets LA Lakers game in the semifinals when Eric Gordon hit that shot derecho.
yes, I was
And
just
Mike
gonna
Breen
say.
thought it went in.
Puts
Yeah.
it in.
And it
And he
gets
said,
in.
bang.
No,
And
he didn't bang.
It's in. He said,
Walang
it's,
bang.
and that's good.
Ayun.
And then suddenly, nasalo siya ni Kyle Kuzma, but Kyle Kuzma didn't step out of bounds, diba? And here's the broadcast quote of the year coming from Jeff Van Gundy. And I quote, "That's an air ball, Mike."
I was waiting for your bang. I was actually waiting for your
You should have given it with a bang. That would have made it better.
Yeah, I should
Oh. It's really good. Pero what if, Pinoy talaga si Kyle Kuzma kaya walang inbound, no? Diretso na lang next play.
It happens on scrimmages, diba? On whole court scrimmages, ganun eh.
Not
If you
really
play
whole
pick-up
course.
games, gano'n na lang yun. Pag pumasok yun, nasalo yung bola, di ka nalalabas. Ibato mo na kagad sa kabila.
Yun.
It actually happened in the game. It happened in the game, in the PBA game. Alex Mariari, he took the ball.
Yes, I know that one. Oo.
Alex Mariari, he thought it shot and he took the ball and he stepped out. It's in,
Yes, it happened. Oo.
Kyle Kuzma didn't step out. That's what makes it more Pinoy.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Oo.
So bad.
Oo. So,
I was gonna put that also, Jay. Good one. Good.
Ganda yun
I
nga.
like it.
Maganda
Parang
yan.
ano,
I kept laughing and laughing and laughing.
parang ano rin, it's a perfect description of 2020 being an airball.
Oo.
So parang it's a spur of the moment, but at the same time it kind of describes the entire year. Na parang it's one big airball.
May connection talaga eh. May
Pero-
connection talaga doon sa nangyari.
But there was one play.
Yes.
This is funny because I think we were talking then, and then I messaged that sa inyo, and then we were just laughing, saying how commentators in the States and analysts, they're so open, diba? They're so good. I remember one game, si Magu Marjon at saka si Coach RG. Tapos sabi ni Magu, parang about si Travis, Romeo Travis.
Romeo Travis.
Naalala mo yun, Jay?
Tropa ni Lebron.
No, si Romeo Travis na parang hindi, sabi ni Magu, for the last 5 minutes, hindi pa nakaka-score si Romeo Travis. Tapos tumawa si Coach RG. Tawa. Kasi naman, nasa bench si Romeo.
Yes, I know that. Gio.
Ayaw, ano?
I know that.
Naalala mo yun?
I know that.
Kasi
I
naman,
remember,
Magu
I remember that game.
nasa bench.
Nasa bench si Travis noon.
Man,
And the opponent is having a run. That's
Yeah.
the reason kasi. The opponent was having a run and Romeo Travis just having his usual break
Oo.
before heading to that final stretch of the fourth quarter. So nagtaka siguro si Magu. Di siguro nakakapuntos tong Magnolia or tong Star Hotshots kasi wala si Travis.
Doing this
Just so happens on the bench. Oo.
Romeo Travis did not shoot kasi po nasa bench.
I mean, it's a testament that it does happen to
It does
everybody,
happen.
even to the best, diba? Oo. So
so,
that was our broadcast quote of the year. Fun moments, diba? And so far, isa pa natin monitor dito kung magkakaroon tayo ng pare-parehas dito sa award.
Okay.
Sa mga award. Ganda. So, let's move on. Third award is the shocking moment of the year. So, just anything surprising. It may be a happening or a news that really shocked you this entire year. So, let's start with you, Claro. What's your shocking moment of the year?
Shocking moment of the year. The global shutdown of sports. Rudy Gobert, and they stopped the games.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like the world was going to end. Because okay, the NBA is shutting down, and when does the NBA shut down?
None. They never shut down.
Never sit
Exactly.
down.
Even on work stoppage, diba?
Exactly. They play on holidays and everything. So that is my shocking moment of the year. Another one, I have to give two.
Mm.
Lewis Hamilton getting COVID. Because, okay, it's sad that he got COVID, but wow, we're going to have an exciting race because Hamilton won't race. Kasi halos
God
every
modes is
race,
God
sure
modes
win.
si Lewis Hamilton eh.
Exactly. Game sliders on. So, Lewis getting COVID, we're like, this is going to be an open race. And when Lewis got COVID, I had a feeling that George Russell, the guy who drives for the worst team in F1 now, would get the seat. Because again, George Russell's talented, but he doesn't show it because he's in a bad car. So that's my moment.
Mhm. That's Claro's shocking moment of the year. How about you, Lance?
So I have two. So F1, yung fired with Romain Grosjean. So
Oh, Grosjean.
Roman
Grosjean
Grosjean.
crash.
Yeah.
The Grosjean crash.
kasi we all know that F1 now is safer than it was like 1970s or 80s. So you all have this precautionary measures to make sure that the drivers are safe. But well, you see a fire like that and you hold your breath kasi when you see something like that, parang what are the chances of that person surviving?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, parang he does his hero moment when he just walks out of the fire. So at least he's safe. Just minor burns, ganyan, minor scratches, pero at least he survived. So pero at that moment when you see the fire going bigger, parang oh my god. Ganyan. I thought we would never see this happen again kasi F1 is supposed to be safer na. So that's
Mhm.
one. Number two is the protest of the Milwaukee Bucks because it stopped
Oh.
playoffs eh. So parang I was thinking kapag nasa bubble na yung players, yes, they will use their voice against all the injustices and all. Pero I never thought na, uy, nahuminto ang playoffs. Because the Bucks, yun, they
Mm.
won, they made sure na um, to make their voices heard and stop one game of the playoffs. And what's shocking about it is it made a ripple effect through all other leagues na parang
Oh.
NBA also followed suit, MLB yata, yun. So parang it was a ripple effect na so shocking na I never really expected na magagawa yun in the NBA but it did happen. So yun yung dalawang moments sa akin.
Well said, well said. Claudia.
I have two also. Mine is
Mm.
the combination of Rudy Gobert,
Ah,
closing down the
the first
NBA.
co- the
Yeah,
first COVID case.
the first
The
goal.
Patient zero daw.
patient
Tawag.
zero sa NBA.
The fact that he played around and touched all the mics, diba? That stupid move. I'm sorry, Gobert, but that was such a
Mhm.
dumb move, right? And then
Mm.
and then the second one is what Lance said was the crash of Romain Grosjean. That because I watched it not live on TV and I actually screamed, "Oh my gosh!" Because it's the first time
Mhm.
I saw a crash like that, and the
I've
fact
never seen anything like
I've
it.
never seen anything like that, and what amazed me was the less than 3 seconds the medical car was there, less than 3 seconds, and that's how important the FIA takes safety. No, they take it
Mm.
so importantly that kailangan everything has to be for the safety of the driver and the spectators. And it's funny it happened during the COVID. Now
Mm.
imagine if people were watching, right? So
Scary.
there's
Uh,
Traumatizing.
there's always a blessing in everything. So galing. So that whole thing that he came out like he was on fire. He wasn't on fire, but his hands were on fire. The medical doctor pulling him out of the
and
crash.
somehow he was walking out on his own.
Yes.
Diba? Before,
After that, he got into trauma. Na trauma na siya. He got,
oo.
yeah.
Yun nga eh.
But
You
yeah,
know that race?
those two.
Yeah, that
And
race they said
Flash,
the medical car driver should have been the driver of the day though. That race.
yeah, he
Of
was so
course.
less than 3
Yes.
seconds at that.
Ang bilis niya. Ang bilis.
Yes, because the medical car in lap 1 it follows the start of the race.
Yeah,
That's why
in the back, di ba?
Mm.
in the
Yeah.
back, yes,
Oo.
he's always trailing. Even I think his name's Van der Merwe, something like that. South African. Yes. All right.
Galing. So those
Galing
are
nun. Oo.
the closing of the
Good
NBA.
choices.
Oo.
Yeah, and then
So that was your shock. Oh. So yun yung shocking moment of the year. Ako yung shocking moment of the year ko, well, actually have this one kind of category pa that we'll mention next. Pero for me, the shocking moment of the year actually is Kobe Bryant's death.
Oh
I'll tell
wow.
you why. I'll tell
Feels
you
like
why.
a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you why. It was the news that start of the year. Parang doon mo parang it should have been a sign that 2020 is gonna be that bad because of that news, diba? That shocking news that started the year was
920.
Kobe Bryant dead. Oh. Pero the thing that's so shocking here because you never expected it, diba? I mean, you never expect in a sense that you thought Kobe was this immortal guy that the only thing that can stop him is father time maybe he'll die in 90 or when he was 90 or 100, diba? But no one expected that Kobe's gonna die in a helicopter crash, diba? And what's more heartbreaking is that he was with his daughter, diba? When that happened. And what's more shocking, what's more heartbreaking is that they'll just go to a basketball game, a game that made Kobe Bryant who he is, and then that is sharing it with his daughter and with their friends, diba? So for me, that's the shocking moment of the year. Ngayon, moving on, kasi kaugnay ito doon sa ating next category na farewell of the year. The farewell of the year happens to be something like we see our favorite athletes or notable athletes stepping out of the game finally. Parang calling it quits, hanging up their sneakers, lacing up their gloves or their boots, diba? So that's how we perceive farewell of the year. Pero the thing is, we might also include some talagang permanent farewell na, some deaths in this category. So having said that, let me allow to ako na yung mag-umpisa ng farewell of the year. For me, my farewell of the year happens to be The Undertaker. Finally retiring after 30 years of tormenting kids in their households.
Hindi
Diba?
ba si Boogeyman?
No. You know Boogeyman was the comic. Wala naman yun. Pero when you see yung nakita mo talagang merong nanggagaling sa ilalim ng lupa, naglalakad siya, tapos yung mata niya, nawawala yung ano niya, yung eyeballs niya, bumabaligtad, diba? I mean, that's hell scary. But again, you saw him become an American badass, so nalaman mo, tao pala siya, diba? And then, kung naniniwala ka pa talaga sa wrestling by the time when you're 20 years old or 18 years old, diba? Baka kinuha ulit yung kaluluwa niya, naging dead man ulit siya back in 2004. Tapos, fast forward to 2020, now you see him on interviews, on podcasts, on Zoom calls, doing a lot of interviews. Nalaman mo, ay, ganun pala siya. Ba't ako natatakot sa kanya all throughout my childhood? Diba? So, amazing career for the dead man, and that's my farewell of the year. How about you, Lance?
Well, you touch upon it kanina. So,
Mm.
there's no farewell more shocking than Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I am a diehard Celtics fan, I had the utmost respect for Kobe Bryant's game. And
Mm.
any who has been great in the NBA, I have the utmost. It was it was a permanent farewell. So
Mm.
I envisioned Kobe being like what a Julius Irving
Or
became,
Bill Russell, oo.
Russell became to the next generation. Like
Mm-mm.
you can get a lot of advice from him. And he was already starting. He was engaging the next generation already with advice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I saw his life going. Like he'll die like 70, 80 years old because he's so athletic. He's still at the gym. And never in your wildest ideas that it did happen. So, madaling araw nun, gising pa ako nun. Nagfe-Facebook. And then all of a sudden,
Mm.
refresh my Facebook wall. Then, first thing I saw is RIP Kobe Bryant. No? What the hell? Parang, is this a joke or what?
Thought it's a prank.
I refreshed again. More post came. Oh my God. It is real. So, even though I haven't watched him or seen him in the flesh, ganyan, it still is a shocking farewell kasi he's one of like once in a generation players eh.
Mm.
So ganun yung impact niya talaga sa laro. And it's just so sad na kasama nga yung anak niya, and it's just so sad that yung mas batang NBA players could have taken a lot of wisdom from somebody of a Kobe Bryant.
Mm.
Yun lang, sayang. So,
That's true. Claudia.
I'm the same with actually I have two. One is they're both death. One is Kobe Bryant, and I remember waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning from a text from a friend who was in Switzerland who knew that I love basketball. I'm also not a Lakers fan. Everyone here knows that I hate the Lakers, and I didn't like
Ako lang naman,
because
ako lang naman nagmamahal sa Lakers dito.
I hate the Lakers, and because he was affiliated with the Lakers, I didn't like him as well. But when I saw that, and then the fact that he was with his daughter, that crushed my heart. And then from there, I all hats up to him, respect him. But he was my age. He's my age, 41, right? And young dude. And a lot of people were saying, and we were hoping that he'll live out till like he's 60, 70 watching the NBA, diba? But
81.
yeah, he 81. He himself said that he was going to die early. I remember.
Really?
Yeah, he was not going to. That he would like to. Yeah, I die early or go early, and I think it was Tracy McGrady who said that. Or there's a interview that said that I think I'm gonna go early. And then the second farewell is Diego Maradona.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
And
so
this year.
the hand of God, the
The hand of God.
So I'm a football fan. I love watching Diego Maradona. That guy is a wizard with the ball, and the fact that he used his hand to win the World Cup in 1986 that still amazes me. He actually does admit that it is the hand of God. That he used his hand, and it was the hand of God. And if there was a like video ref.
Hindi nga nahuli. Di pa uso ang VAR noon.
So those two are my. I was thinking of people that were retiring as athletes, pero wala eh. Then I realized nga, pagkawala ni Kobe Bryant and both my sports, basketball, which is Kobe Bryant, and football, which is Diego Maradona.
Yes, it's within the premise, Claudia. How about you, Claro, to close this award?
You guys gave all touching picks, I could say. I have another answer to end things on a light note. But just hearing you guys talk about Kobe, daming tributes, diba? And with all of Kobe's death happening, what touched me was they had See You Again, and they played it live, halftime, center court of the Staples Center. Gave goosebumps. So I just remembered that with all of you guys saying. So it's crazy. But I want to keep my farewell to keep it on the court or the field or the racetrack. But I totally agree with you guys. But it's just this is just what popped into my head.
Yeah.
On a light note, it was Carlos Sainz leaving McLaren because he's been their lead driver for 2 years. Yes, he's going to a more famous team in Ferrari. But what's so touching is McLaren is British, and they have a video of team members speaking in Italian, giving him a tribute because he's going to Ferrari, an Italian team. Sakto pala Ferrari in my background. That's a coincidence. And McLaren was saying, please take care of him. Please take care of him. It was touching. It was in Italian. In the end, they're saying, this guy's he's not just a piece. They were saying, please take care of him. It struck me in different ways because yes, he touched the team and elevated them out of the ashes because they were doing so bad last decade. But McLaren also said, please take care of him because Ferrari has been destroying careers. I hate to say. They had 3 world champions in the last decade race for them. Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel. 3 world champions. They didn't win any. Only Kimi Raikkonen won a world championship.
Wala nanalo.
Only Kimi Raikkonen
Oo.
won a championship with Ferrari among the three. And here's the catch. He won it in 2007.
Wow, tagal.
A long time ago. I was in grade 5.
Yeah.
Gosh. Exactly. So, but bottom line is just touching how they just gave such a tribute to Sainz and he was only the team for 2 years. Normally, someone would deserve a tribute like that if you're there for maybe a full decade or so. So that's what touched me, of course. But I think Kobe is something I would agree with also. Don't get me wrong. Yes.
Mm. So, touching farewells naman talaga. And it is something na as much as possible, if we do this again next year, Player of the Year, siguro we'll be remembering somehow like retirements and all, di ba? Para naman hindi ganun tong kabigat tong category na to.
Sana.
Oh. So with that, let's move on. Ito, this is something will touch your heart. Our next award. This is why we love sports moment of the year.
Oh, this is
So this something the most heartwarming moments, the most inspiring moments you've seen this year. Lance, ikot ulit tayo. So ikaw mag-umpisa.
Okay, so it happened fairly recently, pero I think it summarizes the relationship between team and fans. So it was Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp celebrating with fans inside Anfield after a win. So it was like 2,000 fans or so. And then they won the match and then he was pumping fists, directing it towards the crowd. It was a small crowd, pero
Hmm.
he was so emotional. He was so heartfelt in the post game interview that he mentioned that it was like the stadium was full. So that was like why you love sports, because teams, they're not just like franchises, they become part of somebody's life, especially with the NBA and major American sports, and even in Europe, they are part of a routine, one person's routine, especially for the diehard fans. They're not just any club. So even if you swap players or you swap managers, the team, you still root for them.
You'll never walk alone.
It's
Hmm.
part of your DNA as a fan. So that moment with Klopp and the 2,000 or so fans, yun talagang this is why you love sports, the relationship that is built from the team to its fans.
right.
That's great, Claudia.
Ako, just the side notes, si Jurgen Klopp, he's actually a Christian. He's a born again Christian. That's why I watched one of his I like him. I watched one of his documentaries, and the way he always says that it's always for the fans, it's always for the people. And he's known for that. He's known for that kind of that's why he's a good manager. Me, this is why I love sports, is when I remember watching remember watching the NBA, the PBA, the MLB, and the EPL all in one freaking day. And sunod-sunod yon. I'm like, wow, di ba? It's like, dude, this is like, it was NBA in the morning, and then in between was the World Series. Right after that, after like 2 hours, it was like the PBA. I'm like, dude, it was one day, and I'm amazed by that, and the fact that there was a quadruple header in the PBA. That was so
I honestly thought you're gonna say
dude, like 10
when
o'clock in the
PBA
morning.
had quadruple headers.
Yeah, you wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning. You watch the news after news, the PBA, and it lightens your day. It lightens your day, and then the other one, this is why I love sports is I remember this is very light. It was the Rays versus the Dodgers game. It was the game 4 of the World Series, and how they won that series. I forgot who the the player that hit the ball. Basta they were close out. Malapit na sila. The Dodgers were like leading, about to lead now 3-1. But because of that magical shot or magical hit, nanalo ang Dodgers. The Rays, the Rays, no. And then last one was being in the PFL. I was part of the Philippine Football League as the announcer.
Mm.
Being part of that league, part of that bubble, or what I call the semi bubble. It just shows that it works if you really if you put people together with one goal, with one end to just make things right, it will work. And when when United FC lifted that trophy, I think Claro and I were working together. Parang wow, the whole everything just said, wow, that was so good. So United FC won that when Schrock lifted the trophy. Amazing. It was amazing. So ang dami kong why I love sports yun. But the best one was the fact that I got to watch sports all in one day. Well, EPL the next day naman yun, or football was the next day naman. But still, right? Yun.
It's like 36 hours of sports in this
Grabe
year,
yun.
2020.
Grabe.
That's
Never
rare to hear.
thought I would do.
Anyways, Claro.
Hirap pa. Pero I remember liking a tweet or retweeting it, but I can't find it because I think I had that moment on Twitter or seeing a moment from some sport I watched. But what entered my head na lang, top of mind, because I was so excited for it, as if it was just like I was stepping in Disneyland again. Step aside K-pop, step aside K-drama. It was the return of the K-League because they were the first to return in terms of sports returning in the midst of the pandemic. I was so excited. I think it was Jeonbuk Motors and Suwon Blue Wings in Jeonju. So they were playing and I was so excited for that. Like, okay, sports is back and it's football. There was a relief, I could say. And I got a this is why we love sports moment when I could hear the AFC anthem. It was AFC Champions League, and it was the team of Andres Iniesta. I think they were also going up against Suwon Blue Wings, the Korean team. So that team of Iniesta's Asian. Is that Kobe?
Yeah, they played Doha.
Yes, AFC Champions League. And that thing that Claudia was saying was we were the announcers. I helped out in the last day as an announcer also. Whenever players step onto the pitch, I always get this is why we love sports moment when it's football.
Right.
With the players walking in to whatever anthem, the PFL, AFC anthem, Champions League. I get that moment. But it's general for me. But this is why we love sports moment for me will have to be K-League. Straight up.
So here's what I'll share about this is why we love sports moment of the year. I don't know if you guys remember when the Phoenix Suns was entering the floor when they're about to start the game and their starters were introduced by their families. If I remember that one. So yun, I think that was kasi you know how these players faced so really tough times in order to execute that bubble season in NBA. They have to be away with their families, diba? And then there's this Phoenix Suns team, their families showing their support to their loved ones who is playing, and diba? Such a phenomenal moment, diba?
That's
for the league and also the players. So that's what I thought of this is why we love sports moment of the year. Now let's move on to the sixth one. Wow, getting halfway.
6 now.
So, pang-anim na. So far, nagkakapareho pa lang tayo doon sa farewell of the year, which is, medyo in general nga yun. Pare-parehas talaga.
Yeah.
Next award is
closing,
the lap trip.
Shocking moment. Lots of shocking moment also.
The shocking moment. Shocking moment. The Grosjean. Doon
Yeah.
nagkapare-parehas. Next award, laugh trip moment of the year. Pasaya na ng pasaya to. Claudia, you go first.
Remember during the time when there was no lockdown yun. As in strict lockdown tayo. Even the States was in lockdown. Europe was in lockdown. And the commentators were so bored. Like they were so bored that they commented on anything and everything that they saw. From the ants walking to the marbles in the sand to like a dolo walking down the street to Magu Marjan, yung ay na, pumita na, yan, umikot na. Di ba yung mga ganon yun talaga. It gives us so much laughter during that pandemic, during the strict lockdown. So yun, that was my laugh. Ayan, we call it laugh trip of the moment.
Laugh trip moment.
When
we're all bored during those times.
When the all bored that they didn't do anything, but they commented on everything and anything that was shown on TV. Yeah, so that was mine. Yeah.
Claro, how about you?
Okay, so the first is a meme. Lewis Hamilton went to change tires when it wasn't allowed because naka-safety car sila. And because he did that, he got a penalty and had to go back to his pit lane and stay still for 10 seconds. Penalty. That's called a stop and go. So there was a meme after the race. The race was in Italy, Monza. Do you know the bar cheering meme? But I can post this maybe on our social media page for Who the Heck Are We to show you guys.
Yes, that bar. When the bar exploded, diba?
Yes. The big screen on top.
Oo.
So on the big screen, the moment Hamilton stopped for 10 seconds, the whole bar started to cheer because someone else will win the race. Because it's not Hamilton. They stopped Hamilton. He went to 14th place because of that penalty.
Oh, God.
Okay, so that's one. I'm glad to have one also from doing PFL, the closed door game, the last game day. Claudia might recall this. I was laughing really hard. It was Angelo Marasigan of UCFC and Carlisle Mitchell of Kaya. So Mitchell tripped Marasigan. And Mitchell's a big guy. He towers above everyone as a center back. Muscular.
Yeah.
Marasigan naman's a small guy, speedy player. And they just started taunting each other, making their eyeballs bigger. Huh? 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 Come on, man. And they were going like that at
They
each
won't
other.
fight. They won't fight.
And Marasigan was the one who was hit. So Carlisle Mitchell was fighting back in the same way. I think 5 minutes pa lang into the game, tawahan na ako eh. Huh? Ganun lang sila.
That's what Charles Barkley will always say. Those two are not fighters. They're lovers. Diba? They're lovers. They're not fighters. Anyways, yun yung lap trip moment ni Claro.
That's it for me.
Oh, that's
Thankfully, I got to see it. You wouldn't see that in a broadcast, I think.
Yeah,
You'd
you
see
won't.
it in a
They
venue.
didn't put it on
The
broadcast.
tiniest.
Oo.
Yeah.
Sa ikaw na makakakita nun, lalo pag meron ganung commotion. Siyempre, pag may commotion, doon ka talaga unang lilingon. Yung camera, mahuhuli na yun. Lance.
Lalo na camera ng PFL. Parang nasa gitna, malayo. Anyway.
Yun nga eh.
So, 3 laugh trip moments of the year. First is a person in general, LaVar Ball. Pero I have to say this about LaVar Ball. For everything crazy that he said, he is a fantastic marketing genius.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
That dude's a genius. That's the...
Matatawa ka dun sa ano niya eh. Sa pinagsasabi pa rin niya eh. Like when Leangelo went out, the Pistons were like a Haggerty team or something. Tapos yung kay Lamelo na ano, parang he'll do good or something ganyan. Pero he can deliver it on his own eh. No one else can deliver his lines like he does. So he's part hype man, part marketing genius. So tingin ko he could become an agent eh. He has what it takes to become an agent. If he learns how to deal with contracts and all, understand NBA contracts, pwede niyong maging career yun eh. Tapos hype man na rin siya in itself. So dual role. Okay, second laugh trip moment. Nung nakita ko si Robert Bolick na virtual fan, tapos parang nakahiga siya.
Oo. Kainit.
Sa screen.
Like, wouldn't you know that you'll be on TV? It's why it's called virtual fan. Hello.
Oh, they rotate eh. They rotate normally eh. Supposedly.
Yeah, still, you would, never mind.
If you're Babes Bolick, you'll always be on the screen, di ba?
Exactly.
Oh.
Ay, nawala si Lance. Ayun, nawala ka ng content.
Ayan. Lance.
Ayun, so parang nakatapis pa siya na nakahiga. Ako, patulog na yata siya nung mga oras na yun kasi parang nakaganon pa yung isang kamay niya.
English na Northport.
Ano rin yun, it generated some memes din about yung emotion. Number 3, ito yung talagang pinaka-laugh trip kasi there isn't much to laugh about in 2020. Pero ito talaga, sa tingin ko, classic talaga to. Yung yung tindahan ni Bo Belga. yung si James Yap, bayad ng 1,000, tapos keep the change.
That was an overpriced detergent.
Oh gosh.
Overpriced yun, ha?
6 na daw ni 250.
Oo.
Pinagbayad na 1,000, keep the change.
Saka makakita ng fabric softener. Halaga yung nasa sachet pa, di ba? Sa halaga 250.
Tapos nakakatawa doon yung talagang mukha talagang tindahan in a way yung
Belga Aranya store.
kasabit na kape, may
Oh.
empanada pa doon, nag-aalok pa si Belga na, oy, gusto mo empanada? Ganyan. Ito, may kape kami. So, spur of the moment, laugh trip. Yan. So, it shows you also na, posibleng maging career ni Belga yun afterward na maging comedian.
Oh.
Nag-retire na siya like a paras. Ayun, yun. Belga
Ayun.
Rania store.
Laugh trip moment of the year. Yan.
Mm.
Going back to sa bubble. Actually, that's my laugh trip moment of the year. What Ryan Aranya did to the entire BB delegation during Halloween. Actually,
Oh my gosh.
Ryan Aranya actually planned to do that prank to everybody in that delegation. Actually, he did it to all 12 teams. Yung iba nga lang, inalis niya doon sa edit yung mga not so good reaction. But he kept the very good reactions. Well, especially that Raymond Almazan reaction, that
was the best.
that
That was the
profanity-laced reaction, Raymond Almazan. And if you'd hear Ryan Aranya's story, talagang i-describe niya na wala pa yan. Kung nakita mo talaga yung mukha ni Raymond Almazan nung susugod ako sa kanya, parang hihiwalay na yung kaluluwa niya doon sa katawan niya yung nakita niya ako. I mean, that's how we describe that story, that yung reaction ni Raymond Almazan. And if anything, to give you an additional info, actually, may pinano pa si Ryan Aranya na because he has a drone. May baon siya drone. Oh. And we never got the answer, or we weren't able to ask the question where he got that wig and also that exorcist dress. Di namin natanong kung saan niya nakuha yan. Pero what he was planning to do is he'd put that wig and that dress, isasabit niya doon sa drone and then send it out the window nung bibiktimahin niya. But he never got to do that because I think that area is a no-fly zone para sa drone because it's near the airport. But I can just imagine getting that drone, that flying Sadako drone, tapos makikita mo sa bintana, tapos ang plano niya biktimahin. Tapos ang plano niya biktimahin lang the likes of Asitaw Lava. And I mean, yung mga the PBA guys na takot talaga sa multo.
You know, Sir J, real quick, I just want to add because I remember I was choking while laughing at that. And I can't believe I overlooked that. Yeah. And what was funny with Almazan is, hingal na siya.
He was
Minumura pa niya si Ryan Aranya.
Oo.
He was holding water pa ata, di ba? He was about to drink water.
Yeah. He asked for a glass of water, tapos hingal na hingal. Toot mo! Hingal na hingal.
It was really profanity-laced talaga yon. Pero Ryan Aranya will tell that story very best. If you get a chance to talk that to him rather.
Can we get him over on the podcast? Let's get
sure.
that.
Let's try ask him. We'll get him exclusive for that story alone.
Oras na yun, yung mga plano niya.
Oo. Tanungin natin siya. Pero that has been our laugh trip moment of the year. Pag naalala mo, patatawa ka talaga no? Mga pinaggagawa nila. But we have to move on. So, our 7th award, we call this, masaya to Return of the Comeback.
ROTC.
Oo.
ROTC.
Return na comeback pa. So, Return of the Comeback Award. So, you know, we are going to give this award someone returning from injuries or long layoff for whatever reason. Claro, you start with this one.
Return of the Comeback. It's not my final choice, but I'll tip my hat to LA, Tenorio. Then, before I go to the biggest answer, well, they're both big answers. Local perspective, it's that franchise of Ceres Negros United City FC coming back. Because they left in the pandemic, due to reasons, of course, their operations were hampered. So it was just great. They rose up from the ashes. Stefan Schrock and manager Ace Bright just pulled everything together. They kept that core and they won the chip. People were counting them out of winning the title, the PFL title, just because of this change and everything, naging last minute. So that's mine for local talaga. But for global perspective, I think it has to be Pierre Gasly winning his first race in F1. I did mention earlier Lewis Hamilton had to take a penalty for illegally pitting. And because he because he had to serve a penalty after. Pierre Gasly took advantage and won the race. And what's so nice is he races for AlphaTauri, which is owned by Red Bull. Parang de facto team B lang yung AlphaTauri. Gasly used to be in Red Bull. He got kicked out halfway in 2019 and moved to AlphaTauri. But just him winning that, man, because the moment you get kicked out of Red Bull and move to Team B, the next thing you know, you may be gone. That's why it's such a big thing, because this guy, just based on Red Bull's history, Red Bull expelled drivers before really early, and this guy just stuck it out. And when he got his trophy, normally the drivers after Champagne, they just go run down and have their press con. This guy sat down on the number 1 spot, just holding his head. And that was crazy.
So baka ma-promote siya ulit. Ma-promote ulit siya.
No,
You won't get promoted.
Probably thinking,
You won't get
thank
promoted.
you, Lewis Hamilton, for that penalty. Thank you. Thank you.
he won't get, the moment you get demoted from Red Bull, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
But the fact that he won that race, he's gonna stay for a long time. And he's my pick for driver of the year ba nga in F1 when you factor in things. So that's my moment. And this guy does the sign of the cross before he enters the car and everything. I can't recall if he did it on the podium, but Sergio Perez did it. But that's another F1 story pa rin. But hands down for me, Pierre Gasly, UCFC.
ROTC of the year ni Claro. Lance,
Okay.
ROTC.
There is nothing more dramatic than this guy's story. So, Alex Smith, quarterback, Washington football team. Career-ending injury 2018, but he gave it a chance. Had 17 leg surgeries just to come. 17
Oo.
Dami.
in a span of 2 years. And then eventually, he's now starting for Washington. He's the starting quarterback. That's all I can say about his story. So it's that depressing and at the same time inspirational. Alex Smith.
I mean, 17 surgeries. Parang Frankenstein na yung legs mo nun no?
Robot.
If it was
Damn.
opened 17 times.
Surgery rip.
What a comeback.
Ano na yan? You give yourself a small chance to come back after 5 surgeries Dami na nga ng 5
Yung pa 17 times 3. Grabe.
17 surgeries.
Oh.
But
Claudia. Oo. Yun nga Claudia.
Ako, 2. One is also with the NFL, which is the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs coming back from a deficit of, I forgot, against the San Francisco 7.
It's a blown lead.
Yeah.
Blown.
I was for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes then, and grabe, he's actually called the comeback king of football.
Patrick Mahomes.
All the time they're like losing in the first 3 quarters, but on the 4th quarter he always comes back, and he showed his capability during the Super Bowl, and I was actually for the Chiefs then, even though napakagwapo si Garoppolo, their quarterback, super. Oh my gosh, he's so gwapo. But yeah, they lost. San Francisco, they lost against.
San Fran just plain sucked.
No, grabe the defense of
Kaya nga,
Yeah, so basta comeback yon. And then the second one, which is so weird. It's not really a comeback, but Lionel Messi. Diba? He left Barcelona. And then he signed with sino ba he signed with City ba? Was it City, Lance?
Yeah,
Was it
Man
City?
City.
Man City.
And then he went back to Barcelona without even playing a game in the English Premier League. So that's what we call the comeback of the year.
Can we put a price on that comeback?
Yung price na napakalaki pa ng yung big ang laki ng
Di ba to the tune of $1 billion yun?
No,
Huh?
yung transfer dapat like billions of
$1 billion comeback yun. It's $1 billion.
it was big. It was a huge But he went back to Barcelona to finish off his year.
Oh, well, that's a nice comeback coming
But
from
he's gonna stay there
Lionel
for a year
Messi.
now, and then he's gonna go back.
Mm.
He's gonna really leave. He's gonna leave. I have a feeling he's gonna leave Barcelona. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Malay natin, mag-jump ship ulit. Baka matripan maging ano siya, maging ping pong ball, di ba?
We don't know, but yeah, we'll see. Kasi
Oh.
after when he came back, ang dami din umalis ng Barcelona. Eh. So, yeah. Okay.
Alam mo, mag-PL si Lionel Messi.
Wala dapat.
Pwede. Anyways, how about this return of the comeback? Calvin Abueva,
Yes, of course.
diba?
Of course.
I mean, that's 15 or 16 months
of course.
of soul searching, realizing your mistakes, tweaking your personality, especially on court personality, and he, from becoming one of the instigators, he's now the one who helps even his opponents to lift them up when they fall down, even at fault. Kasi even Calvin Abueva's teammates, we talked about this last week, even Matthew Wright, pinipigilan na siya. Jason Perkins told the story, di ba?
That's right.
Sabi ni Jason Perkins, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You're not supposed to help them up.
Oh, what are you doing? Leave them alone. You're not supposed to help them up. Diba?
That's
So,
right.
I mean, ayun. That's Calvin Abueva. What a hell of a comeback. Changes demeanor, changes attitude on the court. Well, changes attitude towards his opponents, pero towards the game, is still that same head-on, sugod lang ng sugod type of player.
He didn't change.
So that's my... What is it, Claudia?
He didn't change his his game actually improved a lot. A lot for me.
That is true. So that's the return at our comeback awardee Calvin Abueva. Now let's move on. New kid on the block. So ayoko mauna dito because I want to hear your choice for new kids on the block first. Si Claudia, who's your new kid on the block for this year?
Bam Adebayo.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, number one, he's a new kid on the block. You know, I think he did so well in Miami, and he also did a major block against the Celtics. Sorry, Lance, but so Bam Adebayo for me. He's who's that? Who's that? Yeah, he amazing. He, you know, if Miami won the series. If Bam Adebayo was not injured and during the Miami versus LA, they would have won. And who was their other guard that got injured? Sa Miami?
Dragic?
That's
Dragic.
Goran Dragic.
Yeah, if they did not get injured, the
Lakers in 7.
By the chance.
the Lakers would have not.
Lakers in 7.
Miami pa rin.
Lakers in 7.
Diba?
7 plus overtime, I guess. Oh, with overtime.
Dami
Lance.
nagsasabi na
Lakers in 7 pa rin yan. Lakers in 7.
walang sweep.
Kompleto pa sila.
Walang sweep, Jay. Walang sweep. Yan. New kid on the block and the block.
Oh. Yun. Lance, new kid on the block.
Block. Okay, so I'll stay with the NFL. So there's this guy called Justin Herbert, plays for the Chargers. He was drafted 6 overall this year. So he started the year nagtatalo sila ganyan. Pero lately he has been doing exceptional performances, especially yesterday against the Las Vegas Raiders. He scored the game-winning touchdown wherein he stretched from the 3/4 yard line. So parang less than 1 yard. So all he did was stretch himself. Talagang stretch kung stretch. Yung talagang contortionist touchdown talaga. Pero he's been playing great lately. So after Philip Rivers went to the Colts, so transferred to another team. So nagkaroon na ulit sila ng panibagong star quarterback at Chargers. So I'm expecting greater things for this guy moving forward, Justin Herbert. So
Awesome choice. Something that we need to watch out for in the coming years. Claro.
New kid on the block, right?
Mm.
Carlo Dorin. Kid
Mm.
playing for the Ascal's development team from Cagayan de Oro, homegrown player, introducing himself on the big stage. I don't think he played in the UAP or the NCAA. So him making his mark in the pro leagues, proving himself amongst players who were born and raised abroad. So that shows people here in the Philippines that hey, I can do it too, just like him. So they now have another role model to look up to other than Harvey Gayoso. So it's great to see two figures now because the more the merrier, of course. So straight up, it has to be him.
He's actually pretty good,
At,
pretty good.
Yeah,
hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
impressed in the PFL season.
Yeah.
Ang nakakatawa dito, very diverse yung ating choices for
Oh yeah.
new kids on the block dito. Ito, here, how about mine? Dwight Ramos.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's the first time people saw him here in the Philippines play. Pero actually from where he came from, hindi na ganun ka ano, 'di ba? Hindi na ganun ka foreign, but Dwight Ramos, there was little expected of him during the first window, kahit kasama siya doon. Second window, still the same, very little expected from him. Pero man, that kid showed up, and even some coaches went as far as saying he's PBA ready, even though he's
Mama,
committed to Ateneo.
mama na siya, no, in that last
Mama
window.
na to, mama na to, mama daw,
He's PBA ready.
Mama,
Mag-Ateneo.
oh, mama na daw maglaro si Dwight Ramos. So
mamaw din.
it's the first time people saw him, and I mean the hype is already there. Everyone is so high on Dwight Ramos. So ayan, that concludes the second trimester of this 12 gifts of Who the Heck Are We award.
Lapit
Punta
na,
na tayo
lapit
sa
na.
third trimester, last trimester na. Ninth gift of the Who the Heck Are We Leader of the Year. This goes to the executives, the coaches, or team captains, or franchise players who steer their team to greater heights. So, Lance, I'd like to start with you.
Okay, so I would have to give this award to Commissioner Willie Marshall
Mhm.
for an exceptional job for the PBA bubble. Well, there has been some missteps and um, some instances that you wouldn't want to happen, like Joe Devans removing his face mask while interacting
Mm.
with the crowd and
Mm.
whatnot. In general, the PBA bubble was a success, and though there were a lot of people na were involved in making it a success, he was still on top of everything. He's the commissioner, so he was still the man in charge. So I have to give credit to him. And because of the what PBA did, nagkaroon pa ng hosting for FIBA.
Mm.
So nagbunga pa yung nangyari sa ginawa ng PBA. So thumbs
And
up
to
to
add to that, there are a lot of people reaching out to Commissioner Willie Marshall, di ba?
Mhm. So, yun. I know that there are a lot of people involved. Siyempre, the entire PBA
Mm.
maximize their manpower to make it possible. Again, ESPN 5 also. Pero, siyempre, you cannot give credit to everyone. Pero, si Com Willie pa rin yung overseer ng lahat eh. So, hats off to.
Oh,
So, siya yung leader of the year.
yes, indeed, Leader of the Year. Claudia.
Ako, I have, well, Coach Tim Cone.
Alright.
Mhm.
Right, of course.
Right.
You know, Coach Tim Cone, the fact that he dedicated and gave again credit to his assistant coaches, to Coach Richard Del Rosario. Hi, Coach Richard Del Rosario. He actually cried, I think, when they won the crown, because he was really pushing for a bubble since May. So for me, it's the leadership of Coach Tim Cohn and Coach Richard Del Rosario, Olsen Rosella, and then Freddy Abuda. And another one is Coach Eric Spolstra. You know, when they lost,
Oh.
yeah, Coach, when they lost, he actually also cried. He said that this one hurts. This one hurts a lot, and he saw the dedication of his players. And again, he also deflected credit away from him, and he gave credit to Jimmy Butler and his other and his players, and the fact that he tamed Jimmy Butler, and the way that he
Mm.
the way he tamed Jimmy Butler shows how good of a coach,
Good word.
yeah,
Mm.
how good of a coach and leader coach Eric Spoelstra is. So those two, and Coach Tim and Eric Spoelstra, and they're actually good friends. Yeah. So
Oh yes.
con Coach Tim Con, Coach Richard De Rosario, and then Coach Eric Spoelstra. Mga Pinoy talaga yun.
Oh, Coaches Galore, ang Leader of the Year award ni Claudia. Claro.
Okay, if it's athletes, it's Stefan Truck. No need for an explanation. But anyway, just for those who aren't so, I know. So, Stefan Truck, of course, was with Ceres. He kept them intact when Ceres disbanded as they turned into UCFC. Coach Frank Muescan even credited Trucky
Yeah.
for helping him with his transition because Coach Frank was new, of course, but everyone was there, but Truck kept them intact. And it's just this mentality. He's up there with Kobe in terms of like that Mamba mentality and being so confident in themselves and saying, I'm gonna beat this guy. They end up doing what they say, and that's Rocky. And if behind the scenes it's Commissioner Coco Torre, PFL, they had to put up a bubble at the last minute, and they did it with his leadership, of course. So hats off to him. And it was just so good to see Philippine football back. Watching 3 games in one day, similar to what Claudia said, watching a gazillion games in one day. That was a treat.
Yeah.
Watching all the local football players in one day.
Right.
That was like a highlight of my year personally. Also enjoying that.
Good.
Ayos. Oh, eto, Leader of the Year. Since Lance said it earlier, si Commissioner Willie Marshall ang kanyang Leader of the Year, I have to tip it off to his American counterpart, Commissioner Adam Silver. Because you can imagine all the things he needed to handle from that Rudy Gobert situation that essentially that was the beginning of the suspense, the beginning of the postponement for the NBA, and especially what happened in between nung umpisa nung games were halted hanggang pag-umpisa nung bubble, the things that he had to deal with, the Players Association, broadcast partners, Disney Complex, Disney World Orlando, di ba? It's a nightmare for that guy, for sure. Tapos, nung nag-umpisa na yung bubble, natigil ulit kasi merong protest na naganap, di ba? So, grabe sakit ng ulo ng mama na yun. And if anything, here's the thing kasi, everybody, all the eyes of the people are on the NBA for whatever reason, di ba? NFL was an off-season, kaya hindi masyado pinapansin. MLB, di rin ganun pinapansin because they thought MLB, they won't pull it off. Sa NBA, lahat sila nakatingin di ba? And the NBA had this idea and they executed it and it became a model for every league around the world, including ours dito sa PBA. And yung sinundan natin na yon eventually led to greater things. Tulad ng sinabi ni Lance na, yun nga, may FIBA bubble tayo come in 2 months. So that's my Leader of the Year. It goes to Commissioner Adam Silver of the NBA. Next award.
Ding ding ding.
Ikaw mag-umpisa nito, Claudia. Breakout Star or Stars of the Year. So breakout meaning they were on, sabihin natin, regular pace lang sila, parang naglalakad lang, pero come 2020, when sports came back, bigla silang nag-sprint papunta sa finish line or papunta dun sa man sila
the Phoenix,
the choice,
LPG, that team.
Phoenix Super LPG.
Yeah, Super LPG. First, before they even came into the bubble, they already had a coaching change from Louis Alas to Coach Topex Robinson. And then they had Calvin Abueva coming out from the ashes. As you said earlier, return of the comeback. the emergence of 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 Jason Perkins, you know,
Mhm.
is Matthew Wright Mamba mentality. Diba? He dedicated his game for Kobe. He said that
Mhm.
every game he steps on, he thinks of Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, and then the vastly improved Justin Chua. So for me, that is Phoenix Super LPG. That's
Awesome choice.
yeah.
Indeed, a breakout performance, a breakout team of the year
I was
talaga. Oo.
hoping to get into the finals, but yeah. So that's my choice.
They were a game away actually,
A
'di ba?
game,
Claro, oo.
yeah, a game away. Yun.
Okay, so breakout. Actually having a hard time thinking of this, no? Oh, okay. Now I remember. I have my local international Duncan Robinson.
Nice.
Mm.
Because of how he just, it's like Hulk. He turned into the Hulk in terms of beast mode from being a Div 3 guy, and he wasn't even a regular before on the NBA roster and in the roster. So just seeing that,
Mm.
and he was competing against the Lakers and holding his own. He was the one they were calling Jimmy Neutron, right?
Yes.
Ayun.
Kamukha naman talaga kasi haba pa ng mukha niya. Haba pa nung
Hey,
mukha
he's
niya, di
being
ba?
he's being trash talk. That means he's a threat, right?
Oo.
So there. That's my breakout star for international.
Mm.
For local, it'll have to be Kenshiro Daniels because he lost his form. And with Kaya, he was put up front. That's not his usual position. He's more of a winger. He ended up leading them with 2 goals. I know just 2 goals. He should score more as a striker, but that doesn't really paint the picture. He still got the job for them. He found the back of the net. He gave them that threat up front and helping Kaya's offense. So they were in contention. But unfortunately, they finished second. But him as an individual, galing ng performance niya. So I'm gonna go with Kenshiro Daniels because he had a dip, but he's going back. He's back. He's back in terms of progress.
Dalawa kay Claro. Lance. Breakout stars of the year.
So sa akin ay tatlo.
Mhm.
Let's not forget R.R. Garcia also. Napaka-instrumental ni R.R. Garcia off the bench
Mhm.
for Phoenix. Kinulang dahil gaya nga ng sabi ni Reynel Hugnatan naluto. Anyway. So, nabanggit ni Claro si Duncan Robinson. So, I'll go for Tyler Hero, number 1.
Woo!
So, ayan.
He's a hero.
Ayan.
The
So, Tyler
snarl.
Hero, lalo na yung game face niya,
The snarl.
naging meme na yung snarl niya.
Yeah.
Oo.
It was expected, Pat Riley expected him to be good but not this level of good. Parang they expected him to mature like in 2-3 years. Ganyan. Pero not this fast. So talagang ganun kaagad
Kakasama kay Jimmy Butler eh. Yun yung nangyari.
The coffee of Jimmy Butler as well.
Siguro may something
There's
dun sa kape ni Jimmy.
That's
Siguro,
right. That's right.
Point kukunin niya si Tyler Hero. Ano mo nangyari sa kanya? Galing niya na bigla.
Oh.
Must be the juice. Anyway. Second, of course, Rookie of the Year NBA Ja Morant. Kasi everybody was Zion. Parang, sige, Morant. Pero, until you really watch the Memphis Grizzlies play, and they were able to play din in the bubble kasi they were fighting for that last play-in spot, then you'll appreciate, no, he really is good.
I think we're
not as publicized as so not as publicized as Zion, pero yun nga, Ja Morant, number 2. So I expect greater things also for Memphis. So let's see.
Yeah.
And then number 3, MLBC, Randy Arozarena. Race played played for St. Louis 2019 pero middle of the season na siya na-elevate to Major League.
Mm.
He broke his hand, if I'm not mistaken, came back to the Cardinals pero he was okay when he came back. Pero when he was traded to the Rays, doon na talaga parang Tyler Hero moment na, ang galing nito ah. Ganun. So, Andy Arozarena, the Rays. Ayan. So, yun yung tatlong breakout stars ko for 2020.
Great choices, ah. And I think, para tatlo na tayo, what I chose as a breakout team, isa doon Phoenix. I also chose Phoenix because flat out, talaga namang very exceptional yung ginawa nila. Nobody expected them to be in the semifinals, actually.
Right.
Diba? And then, here's another team that masasabi ko na breakout. An honorable mention pero hindi pwedeng hindi ko sabihin eh. Denver Nuggets. I mean, they slugged it out against the Utah Jazz no first round ng playoffs. They thought, everybody thought they're gonna be swept by the Clippers. Pero, yun nga, just when everybody counted them out, they showed up. Ginulpi nila ang Clippers, 'di ba? And they also slugged it out pagdating ng Lakers, pero of course, that's the Lakers. 'Di ba? So, there. It's Phoenix Super LPG and the Denver Nuggets being my breakout teams of the year.
Wait,
Our
I'll add also-
penultimate award. Oh,
I'll add one. The Phoenix Suns also. They were also the
7-0.
yeah.
yeah. So the Phoenix Super LPG and the Phoenix Suns. Well, both Phoenix.
They were
8-0 run in the bubble. They should have gone into the playoffs. Talaga.
Basta bubble Phoenix, no?
The bubble Phoenix.
LPG or Suns.
The bubble Phoenix. That's right. There you go. I think we lost Jay.
Or maybe after breakout, we have victory moment of the year, right?
Oh, yeah, Jay, you're back. You're back, Jay.
Oh. Now, I was about to say Phoenix Suns, they're undefeated nung bubble, 'di ba? It's just sad that they didn't make the playoffs.
They should have. They
Diba?
should have given
Oh,
priority.
they should have made the play. Oh,
With
sana.
they
diba?
should.
They should.
Or they
Wala eh.
The
Sayang.
record wasn't good enough. Diba? They had to rely on others to win out of their hands.
Others to lose. They had to
Ayun.
rely on others to lose. Specifically Memphis. Memphis shouldn't been there. Anyways, eto, penultimate gift ng ating 12 gifts of Who the Heck Are We? Victory moment of the year. Let's dedicate it to your favorite winning moment.
I think it's 11.
2020.
11 na to, second to the last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second to the last, yes.
Yeah.
So, Claro, mauna ka na.
Ginebra, because you can say that the entire Philippines pretty much will be happy with the Ginebra win. Bubble, of course, bringing PBA back, like what Jason Perkins said in our episode, bringing joy to the people. Put the cherry on top, it's a Ginebra win, right?
Right.
Because if you're playing against Ginebra on a Sunday pre-COVID, that's you against the world, right? So it's a Ginebra victory, bringing joy to the Filipino people
Nice.
because that is the theme of the people. Yeah.
Nice. Lance.
I'll go for the LA Dodgers because I never thought it would happen. Kasi parang for the previous years, they always choke either in the divisional playoffs or like the conference championship. Always find a way to shoot themselves on the foot. Kahit nung pumasok na sila ng World Series, tingin ko race yan eh. Kasi parang laging may magkakaroon ng laging magkakaroon ng error.
You've mentioned this on the previous episode, di ba?
So,
Dodgers always finding a way to choke.
Parang kahit nakapasok na sila sa World Series, inaasahan mo, hindi, magkakaroon ng ano yan eh. Parang magkakaroon ulit ng blood. And true enough, happened in game number 4 when Tampa Bay 2-2.
Yeah, that's right.
Naman tayo.
Ito na naman.
Here we go again. Dodgers being Dodgers.
Which is even tougher to swallow kasi you're in the World Series already. It's not just divisional or championship series. Ano na yun eh. It's just
Lapit mo na.
4 more games to win. Pero, well, they pulled it off. Kershaw came up big. Seager came up very big and money.
Yes. He came up very big.
They are my
Against
MVP.
Atlanta Braves pa lang eh. Those the last
Oo,
the game.
talaga. Instrumental silang dalawa, si Muncy tsaka si
So,
Seager.
those two.
Um,
Yeah.
bigat. Kaya even though there was a COVID positive player who partied on the field when they
When
won,
they won.
Yeah. Okay lang yun.
straight past seasons,
Oh.
Roberts in the team, it was worth it for them to win that. So ano talaga, Dodgers talaga, hands off.
Claudia.
Okay, mine is correlated to my broadcast of the year. Bang bang! And that was the game. It's not a championship or the victory of Ginebra or the Dodgers, but it was a game of Luka Doncic against the Clippers. The last second shot.
Mm.
And then that was one of the rare moments that Mike Breen would say, Claro, would say,
Bang! Bang!
bang bang! So, yeah,
Medyo horse pa.
that was against I think he was against Clippers, and Kawahi Ata was in Paul Georgia were the ones trying to block him or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of moment that would make you say Dallas might have a shot in winning the series, di ba?
Yeah. But fortunately, Luka got injured. He was actually injured. Doncic was injured.
Everybody got injured sa Dallas team na yun. That's why they were it's hard for them to advance in that series.
Right. But I'll call it like Lance call it. He's gonna be MVP.
No, certainly.
Yeah.
Pero now here's the thing about my winning moment of the year. Of course, I'd go for the Lakers. Pero it's not the championship.
Sorry.
Remember that West Finals championship? No, everyone was on the center court. The silver ball is being awarded to them. But then there's LeBron James sitting on the ground. Parang wala lang. 'Di ba?
No, I'm sorry.
Pero
I'm not. I'm gonna really blast everything. Lakers. Everything.
Yes. Of course you're gonna hate it. Pero you can just imagine yung demeanor doon ni LeBron that time.
Yeah,
Jobs
and then
not
he
yet
asked
done.
for respect. You don't ask for respect. Don't ask for respect. I want my respect. Sorry, it's earned. It's not.
You just don't ask for it like a cheeseburger in the drive-through.
But parang when I watch them,
Oh.
sorry.
Anyways, Laker haters.
I am big fan. My gosh.
Anyways, that was my winning moment of the year.
I'll
Because
give it to you. Fine.
you just know that if the job's not yet done, there's no reason to celebrate. But that's all. Yun lang naman. Yun talaga, yun talaga yung parang mindset of the winners.
Okay.
So that's all. Anyways, here we are in our final gift of Who the Heck Are We? And you know, alam nyo na kung ano yung award na to, and it's time to give out our Athlete of the Year. Lance, you start.
Claudia will love me for this, I guess.
Oh, thank you.
It's LeBron.
Oh gosh, no! I'm the host of this.
No.
I could actually go over and say mute. Oh my god! And you're a Celtics fan. Unbelievable.
Well, I would have given it to the Celtics if they won the title. Pero hindi, just with the not just within the bubble kasi. So parang the impact of LeBron James transcended outside of sports. So if I can make it two athletes pala. One is LeBron James, number two is Naomi Osaka. Dalawa. Because Naomi Osaka is like gearing up to be the next Serena Williams of her generation. And what's good about those two athletes kasi, they were really very vocal in what's happening around them. Parang, you wouldn't like it, pero LeBron is the major puppeteer in the NBA. He had to somehow swallow his pride to let an Anthony Davis shine to win his first title. Somehow shine kasi is okay. And then Naomi Osaka won a major tennis championship this year, Australian Open. So ano sila, co-athletes of the year. Not just because of their achievements in the court, but more so yung impact nila of what they do,
He did.
yung pagiging activist nila outside.
Mm.
So, yun. Athletes of the year.
Athletes of the year, dalawa pa. Claro, who's your athlete of the year?
Pinoy Stefan Schrock, straight up. What I said about leader of the year, because that also applies. He sort of has that. Do you call it a cult following or with the silverback gorilla, and even other players post it and tag him. Even some players, I think in Thailand and in Singapore, they post that silverback and they tag Schrock. It's like saying, maybe it's like saying Mamba mentality for Kobe, and you have that for Schrocky. Just because of the way he just changes the game, of course. He's more than the face. He's also the heart and soul of the team. Again, he kept United City FC together. He's wow. He's on a whole different level. He's like a grown man playing against boys. That's how good he is. And then for international, Lewis Hamilton, because I'd agree with the statement that I heard. If you make the sport boring, that means you're so good. Because Lewis Hamilton beat 2 records already of Michael Schumacher, wins, pole positions, and Hamilton will break another record of Michael Schumacher next year if he opts to stay in Formula One. So it's gonna be him. Like, you can be so confident that Hamilton will win a race. He drives on a different level, of course. Kakapagod yan, at competing at a high level every weekend, winning. It also gets tiring, but that's not the case for him.
Yeah.
Me, I'll put Lewis Hamilton as my athlete of the year because he broke the record of number of wins in Formula One. 94. I think he did 94, which is he beat Michael Schumacher, and he yeah, I watched his first one of his races before, and I started liking him, and for some reason I started disliking him, but now he's okay. I think he's okay. Yeah, but yeah, see Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton. Okay.
So those are your athletes of the year. I'll go local para sa akin. Elite Tenorio.
Ginebra.
It's a wonderful story. From appendectomy to finals MVP. I mean, who does that? Diba? You start the bubble season fresh from from appendectomy surgery. Then you clawed your way back, and then pagdating ng dulo, ikaw pa finals MVP. Grabe naman, di ba? I mean, that's a phenomenal ride.
Yeah.
One for the books, if you'd ask me, and such a truly feat for me on my book as an athlete of the year.
That's right.
Guys, that has been our 12 gifts of Who the Heck Are We? It's been a wonderful year for all of us. We did 28 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, 28 or 29 episodes.
This is 28.
Oh, and I look forward to doing this again for another 28,
Yes.
for another 28, for another 28, for another 28, and so on and so forth. Okay? And to our listeners as well, maraming salamat po for joining us.
Merry Christmas to the 3 of you, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Oh.
Merry Christmas, guys. Same to our
Merry
listeners.
Christmas then, and Happy New Year to the 3 of you, all of us, to our listeners. Maraming salamat. Maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon sa inyong lahat. And again, that has been Claro, that's Claudia, that's Lance, and I'm Jay. And that is who the heck we are.
Listeners, the real MVP.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
5 stars.
And
Five
Pasko.
stars.